Okay, good afternoon. We're going to begin our 5 o'clock briefing, our City Nueces County joint briefing on COVID-19 for today, April 3rd, 2020. I'll present first this afternoon, providing an update on our COVID-19 statistics. I'm going to talk to you about first responders who may or may not be in quarantine. Talk to you a little bit about, and this is new information, it'll be important for any small business owner that's watching. Talk to you about major steps we've taken and have made this week on a small business recovery program. We're going to talk to you about some of the things Parks and Recreation is doing for those folks that are home to help them have fun and stay fit. And then finally provide an update on Sunrise Beach, which is a city facility up in Mathis. Following me, Annette Rodriguez, our health director, will provide an update on today's drive-through testing. That was another successful event today where we got several persons tested. Nueces County Judge Barbara Canales will speak today as well. She's going to continue to clarify some of the county or the orders that were put in place for Nueces County. And she'll also begin to talk about the 12 County Coalition for Small Business Assistance. We're working jointly, the city and the county. The judge is taking the lead on the 12 County Coalition, which has been named Code Blue. And Mayor McComb is with us here today, even though he's expecting his 13th grandchild, and unless he gets the call, he'll be here to deliver some information on our own stay-at-home orders and talk to you about some of the donations that we received and highlight those folks that are helping us out in our city. So with that, let's go over the COVID-19 statistics. Yesterday at 4 o'clock, we provided statistics in terms of new cases, and so this update right now provides an update from 4 o'clock yesterday to 4 o'clock today. And with that 24-hour period, we have 6 additional COVID persons that have tested positive in our community. So for Nueces County, there were 41 persons yesterday. Today, with those 6 additional, that number goes up to 47. There are still no deaths, still no deaths in Nueces County. There are, though, 2 critical persons that still remain in the hospital. Yesterday, there was 3. So one person has been released and is now at home finishing the recovery. But we do still have 2 persons that are in critical condition in the hospital. We have 39 persons that are home recovering. And then the 6 new persons that were deemed positive since yesterday, those are to be determined, their status. We still have to speak with them and figure out some of their information. One thing on the male-female is it's still pretty close. There's 23 male persons now, 24 females that have COVID-19 in Nueces County. And on our age group, today was somewhat unusual where there was a positive case in 6 of our age groupings. So from the age of 20 to the age of 79, in those different age brackets, there was 1 positive in at least one of those age groups, which goes to show that nobody's really immune to this virus. It can hit anybody of any age. And when we talk about where are these residents, we know that they're in the county of Nueces, but there's one actually that's in the unincorporated Nueces County, so they're not in any city limit. There's 1 still in Robstown, 4 in Port Aransas, and then the difference, so the balance, 41 in the city of Corpus Christi. The 6 new cases in particular, that's where one of those 6 is in unincorporated Nueces County. They don't live in a particular town or city. They're just in the rural part of the county. And then 5 were from the city of Corpus Christi. We're continuing to work through the statewide or really national issue of trying to determine how many tests have been performed. We know what we're doing, but you have private labs that are doing tests on behalf of hospital referrals or hospital orders to do so. So we're taking a different tack to try to get better numbers. We had been earlier in the week trying to get lab or results from labs like LabCorp and Quest, and that hasn't worked out as well as we had liked. So we're switching gears with today's report, and we're getting information directly from the hospitals in terms of requests that they have made to patients to be tested. We think that's going to be a more affirmative way to get the information. And so today, our report shows 505 tests that have been analyzed in our community. That includes 275 from our lab here in Corpus Christi and 50 from other labs in the state of Texas that are similar to ours, the city-county run labs. So in that category, 275 tests performed, analyzed in a lab setting, and then 230 in the hospitals orders. That includes our major hospitals here like Christus Spahn, Driscoll, and then the HCA network, the Medical Center network of Bay Area and Doctors Regional. So we continue to work on that. We know that's an important indicator for the community. We are testing in Corpus Christi, and we've passed a 500 number mark with today's report in terms of number of tests that have been performed. Okay, let's talk about the first responders. So yesterday when we briefed the community, we had 0 first responders that were in a quarantine situation. However, after 5 o'clock, or after 6 o'clock actually, we learned that one of our fire captain's spouse was recently diagnosed with COVID-19, and so that put him at risk. He was tested today and was deemed to be negative, which is good. But between last night and today, he was placed into quarantine, as well as 5 firefighters that he came into contact with recently. So between last night and today, there were 6 firefighters in quarantine, but all 6 now, because of the negative test result from the captain, are back in service. So they're out of quarantine. So we're happy to report again today that we have 0 firefighters and 0 police officers. All our first responders, none are in quarantine. All of them are able to perform their duties. Okay, let me spend just a few minutes now on an important topic for moving forward, and that includes our business community. And so in particular, our small business community. We know that this is an important mainstay of any community. Those small business owners and operators, they employ a lot of people, and they provide a lot of service for our community. And so earlier this week, in combination with Nueces County Judge Barbara Canales, myself, and the City Council, began to look at how can we address and help small businesses through what we're seeing to be a major economic downturn. And I convened a work group of about 20 persons, including professionals in the area, banking professionals. Councilman Barrera was on this task force. We'll meet continually now for many weeks to come. But one of the first things we did this week is presented to the Type A board, who had an emergency meeting today, a small business recovery program for small businesses in the city of Corpus Christi. We presented it to the Type A board because that is the sales tax initiative, the economic development sales tax funded initiative that the voters approved some time ago. And there's an economic development funding source in there. That board today approved forwarding to the full council the program that I'll describe to you in a moment. And City Council will consider adopting and executing orders on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, to make that program be active. And so after Council considers it, and if they approve it on Tuesday, at that point it's just a matter of signing some paperwork and then working with the LIFT Fund, who's going to work with us to help in this loan program. And we'll get the thing probably rolled out next week. So that's pretty quick. We want to move as quick as we can. We know that small businesses are critical and they need relief now. And so what we're talking about for the first go around with this task force is a loan recovery program. We're through the sales tax initiative to the Type A funds. We'll have $2 million available for small businesses that are impacted by COVID-19. We will be contracting with the LIFT Fund. The city contracts with them today. They're a micro lender in our community. They serve numerous cities and counties throughout the state of Texas and in the whole coastal bend, really southern bend of America, including outside of Texas. And there will be a revolving loan fund, so the $2 million that we will provide to loans to the small businesses, once the small businesses start paying them back, that money will go back into a fund to provide even more loans to businesses in the city of Corpus Christi. We call it the Dream Maker Fund. That's what Lift Fund has called it, the Dream Maker Fund. So the dollars that we'll award out to small businesses, when they begin to pay them back, that money will stay here and we can do even more. So it's kind of a perpetual or revolving loan fund. And so the loans are meant to help businesses that are obviously having an issue with bringing in revenue, right? As we stay at home and as persons aren't spending money, then the businesses don't have money to make payroll or to make other operating expenditures. And so the loans are meant to help in this time of revenue stoppage. And the loans will help as kind of gap funding. The loans will range in value of up to $25,000 per business. There'll be zero interest on the loans. The city will pay for the interest. There'll be no payment due for the first 4 months. So once that loan is issued, the money's given, there's no payment due for 4 months. Another good thing, and one reason we're going with the LIFT Fund, is that once all documents are submitted to the LIFT Fund, the loan monies, the monies will be available to the business between 8 and 9 days. So a very quick turnaround for this loan program. So this is just a quick summary. There's more information that we'll have available, and we'll be sharing this with the community and working with City Council, who are the policy setters and ultimately have to approve this on Tuesday. But we're confident that this is a great first step to help those small businesses, and I'm proud to say that Judge Canales will have more information in this briefing today on how, with the county, additional help is on its way for small businesses, not just in our county of Nueces, but in 11 other counties in the area. Okay, let me talk quickly back to some of the city operations. And so in our parks and recreation, we're being creative here in the city, and while we can't always get out to the parks and may not be able to be playing pickup basketball, there's many ways of how we can still stay fit and be active at our homes. And so I want to bring your attention that our Parks Department has on their Facebook page, the site is listed on the screen, which is Corpus Christi Parks and Rec, Live, Learn, Play. That's the address you would go if you were to go to Facebook. Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation - Live, Learn, Play. They're placing daily videos up there to include yoga exercises, arts and crafts, things for seniors and really persons of all ages to do. I looked at a couple myself before coming down today and must say they're pretty nice. The yoga instructor was real energetic, and the art and crafts video I saw was pretty neat. And so it may be something fun for families and kids to do while you're sheltering or while you're staying at home over these next several weeks. And then finally, just one other update on our city operations. The city does have what many may know is a great gem, which is called our Sunrise Beach. This is up by our Mathis Dam, the dam that helps with one of our huge water supplies from the Nueces River, and the Wesley Seal Dam up in Mathis, Texas. And so Sunrise Beach has been a Corpus Christi favorite spot for camping and going to another body of water that's not the ocean, but to be mindful of the stay-at-home orders and to minimize persons coming into our area from other areas of the state. We are going to close down the campsite and the RV rental sites at Sunrise Beach until April 30th. And so up until today, you could rent a campsite or an RV site, but we don't want to encourage people coming into the area. Across the state of Texas, people need to stay where they're at. And so we're going to cease the rentals of campsite and RVs effective immediately. We're also going to close essentially the remaining parts of this beautiful area for people coming in for, say, Easter weekend or just coming in to use the water area. Again, we should be sheltered in place. There are some residents that will continue to live there in their RV campers and so on. We don't want to introduce more people to that area. It'd be better just to keep it as it is without a lot of folks coming in. So we're going to close the campsites and the waterfront area effective today through April 30th as well. And that does include Easter weekend. This area, Sunrise Beach, is one of our favorites for Easter. And so we need people to know, don't go up there for Easter because it is a little bit of a drive up in Mathis, Texas. And again, this is not to do anything but keep you safe and our community safe. And together we'll get through the April 30th stay-at-home order. So that concludes some of the city operational updates. We're happy to talk about that economic development, and I know County Judge Canales will talk a little bit more about it. But at this point, we're going to bring up Annette Rodriguez to continue a little bit more on the operational component of our events today.
En resumen, ayer teníamos 41 casos por COVID-19. Hoy tenemos 6 casos adicionales, haciendo un total de 47. No se han reportado decesos. 2 se encuentran en situación crítica. 41 de ellos son residentes de la ciudad de Corpus Christi. Se han llevado a cabo un total de 505 pruebas entre nuestros laboratorios y hospitales. Anoche enviamos un comunicado informando que la esposa de un capitán de bomberos resultó positivo a la presencia del virus. Su esposo estuvo en contacto con 5 bomberos quienes se cree están en riesgo menor de contraer el virus. Al capitán se le llevó a cabo una prueba que resultó negativa. Los 6 bomberos ya están fuera de la cuarentena y regresarán a trabajar. También hemos establecido un programa de recuperación de pequeños negocios. La ciudad de Corpus Christi ha contactado a agencias para establecer un programa de préstamos por $2 millones. Los préstamos serán de un rango de $25,000 a cada negocio, con una tasa de interés del 0% y con un aplazamiento de 4 meses para hacer el primer pago. El día martes se espera el concilio apruebe el programa y comience la próxima semana. En actividades de parque y recreo, nuestro Departamento de Parques y Recreo está utilizando las redes sociales para informar a pequeños y adultos mayores y ofrecer diversos programas incluyendo zumba, yoga, artes y manualidades. Los videos se pueden ver en su página de Facebook. Y por último, Sunrise Beach, que se encuentra junto al lago Mathis, no va a estar tomando reservaciones nuevas durante la Pascua. Esto no va a afectar a los residentes actuales. El cierre va a estar vigente hasta el 30 de abril.
So today's drive-through was very successful, and the next drive-through is scheduled for Monday, April the 6th, same time, 8 a.m. Yesterday, we reported 7 cases of community spread of COVID-19 in Nueces County. Community acquired means that we are starting to see individuals testing positive without known exposure to a positive individual or any travel. Now more than ever, it is important for you to stay at home and follow social distancing and continue to practice the precautionary measures, the non-pharmaceutical interventions we've been discussing. Avoid people who are sick. Wash your hands as often as possible. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Disinfect commonly used areas and avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. The CDC guidelines, we continue to follow them. The priorities for testing are as follows. The number 1 priority are people that are symptomatic for COVID-19 that are hospitalized. They are also the COVID-19 symptomatic individual healthcare facility workers. Priority number 2, symptomatic individuals in patients in long-term care facilities. Also, patients 65 years of age and older that are symptomatic, and patients with underlying conditions with symptoms. First responders that are symptomatic are also in the priority number 2. For priority number 3, these are workers that are essential for critical infrastructure with symptoms, and in the future, individuals with mild symptoms in communities experiencing high numbers of COVID-19 hospitalizations. The non-priority are individuals without symptoms. These are the CDC guidelines, and we will continue to follow them. I'm available at the end of the briefing for questions. Thank you.
En resumen, la toma de muestras de hoy fue un éxito. Fueron 26 el total de muestras. La próxima semana se tomará otra muestra el lunes 6 de abril. Ayer reportamos 7 casos de propagación comunitaria del virus en el condado de Nueces, adquirido por la comunidad. Significa que estamos comenzando a ver individuos con resultados positivos sin exposición conocida a un individuo positivo o por haber viajado fuera del condado de Nueces. Ahora más que nunca es importante que se quede en casa y continúe practicando el distanciamiento social y las ya acostumbradas medidas higiénicas de precaución.
Good afternoon, everyone. Barbara Canales, Nueces County Judge. Just want to give you an update. A few days now after our amended orders, we are still receiving phone calls to the hotline 414-6000. Over the weekend, if you continue to have questions, please feel free to email us at county.attorney@nuecesco.com. And we will be monitoring these emails, and we will try to get back with you as soon as possible. I will like to just give you, a short synopsis of these orders. They are changed from my previous orders that we issued on March 25th. The most important change is the time factor. They're now in orders that conform, they're now in a shape and form consistent with our governor and his executive order GA-14. They extend till April 30th. So everything we talked about is now in place until April 30th. Another important change that I really want to emphasize as we head to the very first weekend where we have these new orders is that there are no more social gatherings. Remember that we had at one point allowed gatherings of 10 or under, but unless you fall into an exemption, which we'll talk about in just a minute, there's a very important exemption, we just cannot have these social gatherings. And I know how hard it's going to be for you this weekend. This is the time where people and families gather, but just so you know, your family and your household are always going to be exempt from this social gathering rule. But if you're like me, our friendships are also part of our daily, lives and also our weekend lives. And so I'm going to ask that you do everything you can possible to remember that the orders have changed and to continue to educate your friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers that we are no longer allowing gatherings, even if it's under 10, unless you fall under the very important exemption. What are those exemptions? If you need some reminders, don't forget, go on to our nuecesco.com website, and there's a complete listing there. Of course, let's remember that the most important one that's going to affect so many of us as we come into this really amazing week of celebrations for a variety of folks, but particularly for our Christian community, we come into Palm Sunday this week, following next Wednesday, a very special celebration for the Jewish faith with Passover on Wednesday, April the 8th. So for many, many members of our Nueces County community, we're going to extend the extra reminder that the exemptions for worship and for our religious services are in place. The clergy and ministers have been declared essential, but we still ask that where there is availability to telework from home or from audio or video services, that the governor recommends, in fact, the language says you should do these services in this way. However, if it cannot be done in this way, I know I, through my office, have provided some guidance, and also the Attorney General's opinion has provided some guidance, and there are other ways that we can be safe and we continue to celebrate and worship together, and that's through our drive-in and drive-through services. And so I think that you'll see this weekend coming through the following week, there's going to be a variety of ways that we worship. And what we need to remember is how important it is to stay safe. That social distancing, that when we stay in our drive-in or drive-through services, that we stay inside our cars and not get outside of our cars. And I think that if we all work together, we can find that there is true comfort in our faith and an ability to celebrate in this very new way. Again, we ask that you continue to seek out advice and help through our hotline, and we will return to the phones 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. next week, Monday through Friday. I'd like to address in my final moments here the opportunity that City Manager Zanoni has laid the predicate so beautifully for, and that is what each entity is really doing to focus on the impacts of coronavirus in our business community. As your Nueces County Judge, we have embarked on an endeavor that I am very proud to say that I believe will make a major social impact and economic impact to our community. And I've prepared some remarks that I would like to read here for you today. The entirety of my remarks I will unveil on Monday in a video and also through a website that I will give to you here at the end of these remarks. The focus is clearly that there's such great strength when we stand together. And so today I have embarked, and really over the week, but today especially, embarked in calling upon our friends, our business colleagues and associations, my colleagues as county judges throughout the coastal bend, and in fact, even South Texas, to join me in an effort to revive our South Texas economy. I've discovered that there is a lot of power in words, and therefore this project will be dubbed Code Blue, after the medical term, which refers to the resuscitation of life. And that's what I see this as an incomplete effort to revive our business economy. Here are my following remarks. Children not yet born will be asking you, members of this community, not only where you were during the great pandemic of 2020, but what you did. Those children, perhaps your grandchildren, I hope mine, will learn about a community of heroes that went before them and protected their future. The individuals who love, live, work, and learn here are South Texas strong. They and their ancestors have faced adversity after adversity over the generations and prevailed, overcoming Category 4 hurricanes, devastating floods, multi-year droughts, crushing recessions, and have faced down outbreaks of other pandemics. But we've always come back. We've always come back stronger. We are looking forward in the face of this current challenge. We will work rapidly on the detailed planning required for a Nueces County that is not only restored, but more resilient, stronger, and larger than ever before. Let us begin today. My office is leading a coalition of businesses, organizations, and elected officials to create a recovery program to help each other recover and revive the South Texas coastal economy. We are calling this effort Operation Code Blue, Reviving South Texas's Coastal Economy, and you can learn more and get involved and pledge your support by visiting a website we've launched to help coordinate our collective efforts. That website is www.codebluegulfcoast.com. And again, why Code Blue? Because a Code Blue in a hospital setting is an urgent call to resuscitate a patient. And our local businesses and communities are suffering under this weight of this coronavirus. And together we should rush our support for our community and begin our recovery now, not later. Stat. I believe that you will find that this website is focused at this moment on giving everybody an idea of what our mission is and what we can do together. Let me say and applaud that the city's efforts are fantastic. Other counties will join in their own efforts. Other small cities and towns surely will follow. But what's going to be needed is more than a link to a website on where you can get a loan or where you can get information for help. We're going to need navigators, because that's what's going to help folks in the small business community, is being able to navigate their way through these funds, through these applications, and through these complex federal and state laws, which are tremendous opportunities, but are going to require assistance. That's what Project Code Blue is all about, and we are going to share more details with you on Monday through my video. And I just want to say that even though it's being coordinated as a result of this disaster, let me say that I consider this effort a unified one from Commissioner's Court. And I look forward to sharing this message as I do with all the commissioners who will share with their precincts how we can collaborate, coordinate, and start recovery now. Thank you.
En resumen, le quiero recordar de los cambios en las órdenes que reflejan las órdenes del gobernador y que están vigentes hasta el 30 de abril. No está permitido reunirse para socializar. Los familiares que viven en la misma residencia están exentos, pero no están permitidas las reuniones sociales. Para más detalle puede acudir a nuestro portal de internet a la dirección nuecesco.com. Las exenciones para los servicios religiosos continúan, pero se les pide que hagan lo posible por ofrecer los servicios mediante un video u otra manera que sea segura para la comunidad. Asimismo, el día lunes voy a dar a conocer una información mediante un video en donde esperamos hacer una diferencia económica. Tenemos un esfuerzo para revivir la economía mediante un programa nombrado Operation Code Blue u Operativo Código Azul. Esa dirección es www.codebluegulfcoast.com. Para más información y si tiene preguntas, puede llamar a la línea 414-6000 de lunes a viernes de 8 a 5 o puede enviar un correo electrónico a la dirección county.attorney@nuecesco.com.
I finish, you get to go home. So we're grateful for everyone's participation, and we're thankful that we're moving forward, and every day we're getting better in our coordination and our services, and we appreciate that and all the workers that are out there in the field. We have today, I did sign the order on the city's behalf. That is a reflection of the county's order, so that to remove any doubt, if someone says, well, I don't have to listen to the county order because I live in the city. No, that's not right. You have to listen to the county order because it's the same as the city, because they wrote it and we're going to follow it. And so we just want everybody's participation and their support. It does make us uncomfortable sometimes and slow some of our activities down, but it's in your best interest, and that's why we're doing it. And we just want everyone to be safe. But that order has been signed. What you might hear, and before the rumor mill, I thought I would share this with you so you would know, so you hear the facts and not rumors. It's becoming increasingly apparent that as we're moving into the summer months, there will be bigger temptation than there has in the past for more and more people to come to Corpus Christi because, one, they're wanting to get out of the cities that are really being overrun. They want to get out and come down to Corpus Christi. And so we're going to be looking at the possibilities of trying to convince them that coming down here is not in their best interest or our best interest, because the traveling bug comes with them, and we want to protect our citizens. It's unfortunate that we've reached that point that we have to ask folks right now to not be coming to our community, because we're usually out trying to get them here. But on the other hand, we've got an obligation to our community to try to keep you safe, and we want to be able to deal with what we have here and not have new imports in terms of the coronavirus. So we are going to be looking at, I've asked the city attorney and the county attorney, and they're working and looking at the possibilities of restricting the residential vacation rentals for people that come down for weekends or for other times, because they just, it has been and will be increasing as we get into the summer months. But they're looking at that right now. There's no decision been made, but we're looking at every option to protect our citizens and keep everyone safe. You'll be hearing more about that probably next week. Now, the local community continues to respond in many, many ways. Councilmember Bojardo has been working with the Stripe Store, the Laredo Taco Company, to provide some masks for the fire department and for the first responders, and we appreciate that. They gave 5,000 masks to our first responders, and we appreciate her work with them. And also, Deep Eddies is a distillery that has mixed up hand sanitizers, and where you're used to seeing it in little packages about like this, they were producing it in 55-gallon drums, and HEB has purchased them and has donated them to the area. And so the Port of Corpus Christi, HEB transported them down. I think Eddie's Distillery is in San Antonio. HEB purchased them and brought them to Corpus Christi, and they're being distributed to the Port of Corpus Christi, and then the port in turn is distributing to first responders in the area so that they can use those and keep themselves healthy. And we appreciate all of that work from the community. And so as we close our Friday press conference, I want to say that we want you to have a safe weekend. This is the beginning of the Easter season, and remember, you can have a wonderful Easter season, but remember the rules, and you want to stay safe. And we want to wish you well, and we'll be back next week, and we'll just continue to work this until we win it. We are going to win it, and the more you pay attention to the rules, the quicker we're going to win it. So let's work together. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your family time, and we'll see you next week. And Mr. Zanoni, if you want to come up and entertain any questions that they may have, or for you or for anyone else. So thank you.
En resumen, durante el verano se espera que haya más visitantes de otras ciudades, pero visitar nuestra ciudad no está en el mejor interés ni de los visitantes o los residentes. Vamos a pedir a nuestros representantes legales el restringir las licencias para rentas durante el verano. La concejal Paulette Guajardo, junto con la compañía Stripes, logró la donación de 5,000 máscaras protectoras para los trabajadores médicos. Y asimismo, una destilería local fabricó gel, el cual fue entregado a varias agencias de la ley a nivel local para poder así evitar contagios por el virus.
Okay, good. That concludes our press conference for today, but I did want to just update you, or just tell you one thing on the format for next week going forward. To be mindful of the mayor and the judge's time, we'll do operational updates like the statistics and any type of closures Monday through Friday. I'll be here, and Annette will be here, or Dr. Dante. And then the judge and the mayor will come to these press briefings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, unless otherwise warranted, it's not set in. Just mindful of their time. They're busy setting policy and working with the Commissioners Court and the City Council. So you'll see the judge and the mayor Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then you'll see staff every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So that'll begin on Monday, just so you're aware and the community's aware. And then we do have some pretty big things coming up next week, as you've heard. I know the press event is a little bit long here, but just to recap, Nueces County Judge Barbara Canales will be unveiling and doing a video on Monday on the 12-County Economic Development Initiative. On Tuesday, City Council should be approving a $2 million small business recovery loan program. Our council meeting will begin at 9:30, so that'll be in the morning. Usually it starts at 11:30, but we're going to start that meeting at 9:30. So you'll have that information there as well. Those are some big things to keep an eye out for Monday and Tuesday of next week. And that concludes our briefing for today, and we'll take any questions that you have.
Just real quick, we had some phone calls in the newsroom about sewage backing up in people's residential area along the airline in Woldridge. I'm just wondering if you guys are aware of it, and they're particularly talking about the one on airline and Cimarron. There's a plant out there.
Okay.
Just wondering if anybody's going to go and vacuum it up or pick it up, or if you guys are aware of it, or what the situation is with that.
Okay. I can't speak to it right now. I'm learning it from you right now, but we'll be right on it right now. In fact, one of our assistant city managers just stepped out to take care of it. We'll take care of it. Yes. Thank you.
So this happened within like the last hour, but the president announced that the CDC is now recommending voluntary people wear masks on their faces. The city considering any sort of order?
Yeah. We haven't had a chance. I've seen that. I've been monitoring it on CNN, and I watched it before I came down. Let me have Annette speak to it a little bit.
So yes, a voluntary wearing mask. So that actually is probably well deserved for certain people that are the vulnerable population. But for others, I would say to be very careful about wearing masks, because people are going to think that you have COVID-19 and they're going to be afraid to get close to you, which is what we want, social distancing anyway, but we don't want to cause fear or panic in the community. So I would be mindful of those things. If somebody feels like, I'm over the age of 65, I really don't want to get sick, I need to wear a mask, by all means wear a mask. They're also trying to teach how to wear a proper mask, because normally you actually are fit tested before you wear an N95 mask. An N95 actually keeps 95% of those particulates or those droplets out. And so when you put it on, there's a certain way to put it on, and there's usually like a little metal for your nose piece, and it's supposed to cover your chin as well. So people need to, especially the healthcare workers, when they're working in the hospitals, absolutely. They're working around the patients that could possibly have COVID-19. But at this time, I think you just need to be mindful of who you are and where you're going and what you're doing before you determine if you need a mask or not.
Talking about community spread, not clinically, but what does that mean big picture for our community?
Have Annette.
So community spread, again, is when you don't know where you picked up the virus. So you don't know if it was from a person that was COVID-19 or if it was from somewhere they just recently traveled. Initially, we knew people coming from China were those individuals that we suspected had COVID-19, and so we're monitoring that situation. We're way past that situation now where it's in the community. We basically are telling everybody social distance at least 6 feet apart so that if somebody sneezes or coughs, of course accidentally, and doesn't cover that sneeze or cough, that you're not in that aim area, so to speak, in that 6 feet distance. So community basically just means it's in the community. You don't know where it's at. So what do? You don't get exposed. Don't expose yourself. How do you not expose yourself? You stay home, or if you're out, you social distance. It's in the community. It's not in one particular area. It's not coming from a travel-related area of geographic known infected people. It's just in the community. So everybody should be staying at home if at all possible. Sure.
Have we had any official recovered patients yet?
Have we had any patients recover?
Yes.
Yes, we've had a couple of them that actually, we've talked to them, and according to the guidelines, they can be taken out of quarantine. So that's been really exciting for us. And again, we're trying to do convalescent serum. And so, convalescent plasma. And so we're talking to these individuals. Everybody's very willing to try to give their blood to help other critically ill COVID-19. We've had a few, remember our first COVID-19 patient was March 21st, so we've been looking at when did they actually become symptomatic. They have to be asymptomatic for at least 14 days to be able to donate that blood.
Recovered?
How many?
Yes.
So we currently have 3. You're welcome.
If you don't mind, I do have an answer on that sewage issue. So the Woldridge lift station had some issues that caused some sewer backing up. Crews have been out there and will be until everything's cleaned up. Yeah, we're aware. Yes, sir. Okay, any other questions for us today? Okay, great. Just as a reminder, we'll have statistics out tomorrow at about 4:30. As well as Sunday, the updates on any additional positive cases in the county. And we'll see you back here Monday at 5 o'clock. Thank you.